Tundra. Tundra. It is going to be a land map. Quite nicely aggro-minded. As you can see already, the gods quite significantly changing. At least for JSS, for the opponents not too much. You're gonna be still having double Oranoses apparently and Loki in there from SunTzu. As apparently for JSS it's going to be a lot of Lokis in there. Well, a lot of. In the end, only one. It's going to be a Loki with Oranos and with Zeus. So they want to be having at least one Atlantean in there with MiracleMan. And MiracleMan of course is quite a capable one. So why not? Why not use the opportunity that they have? And let's see how the players are gonna be doing this time. On a bit different map altogether. So, we're of course gonna be having plenty of hunt across the map, and we're gonna be having also quite nice interesting gold mines. It's gonna be definitely helpful for Count to be having one all the way to the back here, so it's gonna be a bit harder to raid for the opponents. As for his teammate, MiracleMan, it's a bit into the front, but no, well, the protection is not entirely huge. Luckily, he's an Atlantean, so therefore he can basically place a mana right next to it, and it's gonna be fairly safe nonetheless. But still, it's not like the best of the positions altogether. All the way here on the left side, this is gonna be yet another safe gold mine for chefs. So therefore, overall, I'm kind of thinking that the bases are not really all that bad for them. And it's gonna be, of course, a bit of a hunt behind the bases and the gold mines as well. Gonna have to wait a bit more before we see all of it. There's plenty. Food is gonna be carried by the villages if they're gonna be having the stuff of Dionysus with them, which could be helpful especially for the later game, and can be increasing the efficiency in there for the food gatherers. Food ticker on the other side of the map, as there's gonna be another relic here for human soldier pierce armor, so that's like half of the upgrade from armory. Not one to be underestimated in the long run. As all the way for the opponents on the other side of the map, SunTzu is gonna be having also fairly safe gold mine in there, and it seems like that it might be fairly similar for his teammates, as this one, even though it is in the front, he does have a bit of a protection by the wood line, and he is also going to be having at least a bit of a sentry tower protection if he needs to. But otherwise still could be maybe raided from the front, who knows, you're gonna be seen a bit later, but definitely the award for the most unfortunate gold is gonna be coming to MrTusk, and is gonna be having to defend it quite a bit more, but yet again, he's an Atlantean, drop a mana next to it and go home, he's done. And it's gonna be pretty much fine for him, shouldn't be really any kind of like game changer or game loser or anything like that. So 1, 2 and so far 3 golds for each of the player. And you're gonna be having some golds behind the bases with the 4th one even in there. Altogether discovered, and for the opponents it's gonna be fairly similar. 1 here, 2nd and 3rd one, and all the way to the top there's gonna be a 4th one, maybe even a 5th somewhere into the corner in there for MrTusk. Definitely not impossible, and could be possible the same, or rather the same as the Auroch in the corner. The front TC so far seems to be, or rather seem to be fairly okay, besides maybe... Actually, they're slightly funny when I look at it at this point. This one for Count on the right side seems to be kind of alright. You can see he's gonna be having extra hunt and potentially even the gold mine in there, as this is supposed to be front for MiracleMan. You can see that basically could be considered front for Chef as well. But yeah, overall the map control is kind of alright for them, and Chef could be of course helping MiracleMan with the control in there. This is fairly close to Chef, so it's gonna be fairly okay. With the gold mine on the left side, but it's also quite close by to the enemy TC. This is gonna be TC for MrTusk. I'm gonna be giving him a bit of a gold mine in there as well. There's a relic on the left side for house and mana hit points. Especially for the mana hit points, it doesn't have to be all that bad. Doesn't have to be all that bad either. And I'm just kind of looking at the front TC for SunTzu, which seems to me slightly tricky, because even though it's not all that far away from his base, it's also not far away from the enemies, and therefore it might be contested. And if the opponents are gonna be scouting this properly, which I think they already did by MiracleMan, as he's having the Oracle already quite forward, then this one might be a bit of a problem for SunTzu. And overall for SOEE, it's gonna be curious to see how the players approach it. You can see plenty of gold mines still available for both teams all across the map, and they're gonna be having tons of that all together. So 4 city on the way for the Loki, for one of them. So far 4 on gold, 3 dwarfies and 1 gatherer, and 4 on gold in, or rather on wood in there. As in the Loki mirror, you're gonna be looking 4 on wood, 4 dwarfies on gold, so slightly more efficient in there as far as the gold gathering. Ever so slightly as the Atlanteans are gonna be 38%, and the second one 52, so a bit faster advance from MrTusk. As for MiracleMan, he's gonna be advancing pretty much the same as him, and it seems like that he's gonna be nicely protecting exactly the gold mine as you're expecting that. All the way to the top, Chef is gonna be already thinking about the wall in, just preparing some kind of defenses as much as possible, as quickly as possible. As on the left flank, he wants to be completely and utterly safe, preventing any kind of raid-in, potentially even wanting to be used in the hunt all the way there in the corner. You can see this is a lot of gold mines for him. 3 gold mines pretty much for him altogether, and it's gonna be certainly helpful. And if he can be keeping it safe, and it's gonna be quite nice as well, as he's advancing a bit later overall than all the other players. He's gonna be taking his sweet time with the Hermes and the Centaur raiding that might be still coming for him against the Atlantean. In the meantime though, he's probably gonna have to escape with the villages already, as obviously little Promethean guys, the offspring are, yep, almost seemed like they could be missing it. They're not in the end. They're gonna be exactly in the correct spot, and he needs to be really escaping, because this is not, it's kinda risky to verify, especially looking for example at this villager, already been like half health, so it could be heading into nothing nice for him altogether, as he needs to be just finishing with the wall in as soon as possible, and Jason with the Centaur are gonna be good enough to pull all of this back. So it's gonna be quite good enough for him. As on the right flank right now, SunTzu is playing a bit aggressively for all the food that he can be potentially getting. I'm thinking that after this he's gonna be... No, he could be easily continue even with the Aurochs if he wants to be brave. Or just basically fall back, maybe into those, or rather into this. It seems to be slightly more safer for him, as he's apparently heading here. In the end, as in the middle, there's gonna be a bit of a fight already. As one of the heresies for SunTzu is already dying, that's a bit of a disaster for him. Because right about now, another one is already gone. So this little micro battle is certainly going for a count. That's quite a significant one. But there are a few more units already prepared. So therefore, SunTzu, even though he lost the little engagement, he's gonna be certainly right about now pushing his opponent back. Yet again, no problem whatsoever. As he does have the numbers, he just didn't send them there. And okay. Now that is a good advantage for him to be had. Good advantage indeed with the INR, basically mini flame weapon. So if the engagement is gonna be in, then you can be expecting that maybe Count is not wanting to be basically engaged by that all that much. Should be really keeping an eye on that one. That's gonna be happening. As right now, Red is trying to raid around, not really all that effectively so far. So you will have to be hoping for a bit better luck next time or elsewhere. Okay, bit of a spy, apparently on one of the Heresiers, so that basically SunTzu is gonna be knowing where the opponent is gonna be running and when he's gonna be raiding, as Valkyrie is a pretty good spawn to be had. As Ainara is already dead, unfortunately didn't get his horn blown all that much. As he's gonna be right now getting another one, but okay, another Valkyrie coming for count from count. Right now this battle is going a whole lot better for count than I kinda thought that it could be, as unfortunately SunTzu couldn't get into any kind of good position and he couldn't get the most out of the INARs, as right now count is gonna be inching into an ever bigger advantage right now. So very well done, as on the left side there's a bit of raiding on the berries. Seems like quite successful, at least for the time being, as Chef is having at least a few horses, but not really all that much. As a few more of them, right about now, are still trying to raid around and found the enemy village, or rather military pretty much, the villages in there. So far, he's gonna be at least counted by a few more mills, but they don't have to be enough if they're not gonna be microed enough, exactly as you see here. Exactly as you see here in there. So the gods, just right now noticing in the chat asking, it's going to be Loki with Zeus and Oranos against double Oranos and Loki. So potentially quite aggressive on both sides, as we need to be switching to the right flank, where it seems to be heading into a bit of a 2v2. If Count for Count is gonna be engaging, because so far he's gonna be having a bit of fun with the villagers. All the way to the top, not entirely interested in going for the military all that much. It's gonna be of course resulting into Oxcar there. And yeah, well, he could have probably just continued gathering, or letting his opponent gather there, but it's not like SunTzu wants that all that much, as the inefficiency would be way too big. Way too big indeed. All the way to the bottom, just a bit of a protection on the Auroch, yet again for the hunters, as no, well, this could be maybe possible here. It's not entirely ensured, this is not. There's gonna be some kind of small chance that it might be possible altogether, as the numbers are 6 against like 9. This is not good for Chef, or rather for Count actually. Right now he needs all the reinforcements that he can get into there. So you're just basically keeping opponent busy and open for all of the units. And okay, Ainear, blow your horn. Come on. He's gonna be at least helping in there. You can see plenty of them getting affected. And even though right now Supernova is trying to join as well, he's gonna be shockwaved really well. And all the way here, MiracleMan is gonna be at least slightly helping. So this is gonna be coming for JSS quite significantly. Quite significantly, really well played. He's gonna be waiting for potentially a few reinforcements from Supernova and from SunTzu as well. A few more Hersirs are on the way, as otherwise there is a bit of a batch of army from Count. Can see some kind of raiding party that might be looking, for example, for this one Hunter all the way to the top. Second EC is being captured, but that is also being captured by the other player at the bottom, and there is gonna be a bit of an attempt at finishing for Chef as well. And even though MrTusk did discover it, he was unfortunately for him just a bit too late, and therefore Green is gonna be fine with this to be produced in the economy. No, this is not gonna be enough of a guard. Those villages are dead. Those villages are definitely dead at this point, because Green doesn't have enough army nearby. No, like anywhere, pretty much. He's having only a bit of army all the way to the bottom, then he was having one unit somewhere to the top, but it's already dead as well. As in the middle, there's going to be a bit of engagement between the Oranoses, MiracleMan and Supernova, and it seems to me that maybe MiracleMan would be advised to run, as he doesn't have all that health units altogether. So they are really kind of lower on there altogether. As the front EC apparently is going to be the next course of action for Count von Count, and the front EC also is coming for MiracleMan. Let's check if maybe there's something interesting going on. So far only half of the Titans and Watchtower for Chef. So he apparently is thinking that, yeah, the situation is really getting out of hand a bit. And he needs a bit more protection with the towers and whatever like that, as he even doesn't have all that much of an army. So he's trying to plug this hole with military academy ×2. There's at least something going for him, but he needs to be right now producing plenty of farms, and he's apparently economically strained quite significantly. So apparently on the left, there's gonna be an opportunity for SOEE, straight out of EE, to be doing something here with the game altogether. As the raiding is still continuing by Count for Count to the top. Unfortunately doesn't have anything to be discovering there, and he's gonna be joined also by Chef, who seems to be kinda ignoring the attacks on his base and just basically raiding anywhere that he can and hoping that he's gonna be more effective than his opponent. As in the meantime, in the middle, MiracleMan is gonna be caught on the TC. Supernova exactly paying enough attention and so far doing quite a good job of keeping it down, as even the double citizen heroes are not gonna be strong enough for all of this. Even more, no, this is not exactly Radiant, this is just the straight army coming forward right about now for SunTzu. And again, for SunTzu, pretty much, like for his army. As the Valkyrie, that's a quite nice spawn, but I'm kind of looking at the gold dwarf, he's all the way to the back, and when potentially somebody is gonna be coming for them. As Count is being found out by plenty of, actually, Hero Murmilos in there, and overall pretty solid army. But still, he needs to be microing right well, as one of those Hero Murmilos, this one to the top, was fighting against the Hersir instead of the Valkyrie, for example. So a bit more efficiency, could have been going a long way, but still. It is gonna be forcing Count von Count to retreat. In the meantime, SunTzu is gonna be having at least a department in the middle, trying to get into Hunters, and still continuing in denying the settlement, as Count von Count is gonna be the very first one into the heroic age. And is somebody else coming? Nope, not at all. We had 12 minutes already. Everybody interested in basically fighting in the classical age still, as MrTusk is kinda all over the place with the Radiant Turmas. As in the middle right now, MiracleMan should be finally having enough of a cloud to be just basically securing the position, even though the army is mostly comprised of Turmas. That might be kind of backfiring a bit later, once the opponents could be heading into the heroic ages, but so far that's not exactly the case. And MiracleMan, who is trying to kind of scout the front EC for SunTzu, is probably gonna be losing a few units kind of for free, if they're not gonna be running really quickly enough, as even this kind of reinforcement force from Count von Count is not gonna be enough to get rid of that. All the way to the bottom, there's gonna be still a bit of Hunters. I was just kinda looking for potential spots for the opponents to be raiding or whatever like that. No, this is definitely gutsy for Chef. And by Chef, this can be definitely Willy fought, but it's also gonna be... No, Willy fought. He is his friend, of course, so we're just kinda expecting it's gonna be purple already. But he's on his way. Few hoplites are on the way as well from Chef, and oh, he's gonna be dodging the bullet in there. As those units are gonna be switching to the right side, potentially help with a bit of raiding by Count von Count. But yeah, well, you can already see even a Keroballista into the defense in there, as the TC in the middle is finished. Military barracks ×3 are going to be built all together. And overall, as the yellow army though is still moving forward, and they are getting nearer to potentially securing the position here, and maybe even getting the front TC for SunTzu finally. That was a bit of a shockwave all the way to the top, where Red is apparently thinking that he could be having a bit of an advantage against Supernova. So let's see about that. Yeah, of course, horse is flying absolutely everywhere for him as well right about now. with only one Gyro Ballista dying, and overall the Gyro Ballista are definitely not a bad idea. You can see it was a bit of a raiding on the hunt exactly as we expected, and nope, Chef, you need to be still waiting, as this wasn't a position where he could be coming back into the work. You need to be a bit more patient, as he needs to be producing a bit more army. Apparently so far he's having auto queue on double stables and double military academies, as he seems to be even thinking about advancing into the heroic age finally. We're having rather nice economy. Shaft mine and Hendaks already in there is definitely not bad. Irrigation, copper shields, and Thea for Mr. Tusk. So Chef definitely is correct that he needs to be advancing to the next age, because quite soon he is gonna be in a situation that he cannot exactly handle all that much. And even though he was going for armory, he is not prepared for the heroic at all. So he is going to be stuck with the classical age for quite some time still. As I tell, count from count so far hasn't been able to really do anything significant with his early heroic age. And oh well, situation might be getting a bit tricky for him. Luckily he does have at least a bit of army, but this shouldn't be enough army to get rid of this. So Kanfukan definitely needs to be escaping from this kind of battlefield. Most definitely, and absolutely certainly, as the army, the Ainear on top of that. If actually he gets even more spawns, maybe like 1 or 2 Ainears, oh well, the piggy is gonna be certainly helpful, but okay. Okay, so Kanfogan is right now casting already flame weapons, because he's recognizing that this could be getting out of hand really quickly if a few more extra spawns went in from SunTzu. Exactly as I was mentioning, and it really looked kinda slightly fishy in the department, as in the middle there's another huge battle right now between MiracleMan and Supernova, which seems to be going for Supernova, because he's having a huge amount of Murmilos. A huge amount of them, as MiracleMan is right now paying exactly for what we were talking about a bit easier, or a bit earlier, sorry, when we mentioned that he's having a lot of Turmas and not all that many infantry. Not all that much infantry, so that was exactly right now the cause for the victory for Supernova. And actually quite a convincing one, so right about now, this Symphony Amber cannot come soon enough, as even the villages are gonna be used with their bonus against the siege, against the Gyro Ballistae. Yeah, well, they are otherwise kinda dead anyway, so he's right now hoping that, oh, couldn't even kill the Gyro Ballista in there. As this is quite a solid pitch battle, and really important one, as all the way to the top there was a bit of a battle, as you can see that Chef has found with plenty of hoplits a free TC to raid, and you can see that he's being followed at least by Mr. Tusk, but that's of course gonna be resulting into Chef having a bit of a chance getting the front TC on the left side and establishing himself with a few more military buildings, archer ranges and military academies altogether. So really interesting switch in momentum from Chef in there altogether. Thank you very much, Hero OP, for the host. Hope that everybody is gonna be enjoying the second game here, as long as you're gonna be having it. And it seems we might still be having it for quite some time, because the battle is quite tight. The TC is gonna be up in no time for Supernova yet again, as all the way to the bottom right now, this is time for SunTzu to be using his own flaming weapons, and it doesn't seem that this fortified TC should be... No! Right now when he's fighting all around here, I was just kind of looking if it's gonna be cast the ceasefire in there, but it was kind of an interesting decision. You of course didn't know that the research was coming in there into the TC, but it probably could have been a bit of a priority to take it down, but apparently not so much. And we're gonna be heading all across the map with the medium hoplites running around, having apparently even copper shields prepared for them, and the gold slowly trickling out, as he does have another one all the way to the right side. But unfortunately for him, Count von Count is gonna be all across him, with the mythical age for him already in as well. Mr. Tusk though is in the next stage as well, in the heroic, or in the mythic, with Chef advancing into the Apollo with Secrets of the Titans even. Holy damn. Mr. Tusk definitely having quite a nice game at this point. But the front TC is gonna be stolen from him, so that's a bit of a problem, as he apparently wasn't paying enough attention in there, and maybe just waiting for the underworld passage once Chef is gonna be finally through Apollo. And there's gonna be opportunity for him as well, but much more important, he's basically just scouting the gold mine in there and hoping that he can be taking some kind of advantage out of that. So yeah, in the middle, the battle is resuming. We're gonna be seeing probably a few spawns here and there. You can see, for example, yellow piggy and a few red units, definitely helpful. All those Murmilos against the Herseers. But yeah, well, all those piggies are gonna be just completely and utterly destroying the Murmilos. They're exactly spawning in the correct moments. But yeah, well, Supernova is gonna be joining into the fun, and it should be a bit of an advantage for SOEE. Bit of advantage indeed, but it doesn't seem it's gonna be heading into anything all that significant, maybe even victory for count. And it leads me to believe that maybe there are already some improvements involved, definitely. Bronze and double copper for count. For SunTzu we are looking at double bronze It's not bad. Double bronze already as well. Medium Turmas with double copper for Supernova, and MiracleMan is at only copper shields, nothing really more than that. As we are looking at, okay, that might be a problem. That might be a problem. Unlucky situation right now for MrTusksRevenge. As the Lampade is hidden inside in here, gonna be confusing at least a few hoplites. And the hoplites not kinda like screw the army, just go and try to encircle. Yeah, go for it, don't be afraid. Oh, they're actually gonna be communicating this way. Alright, so that's the reason why he's escaping. He was waiting for the vortex from MiracleMan, who told him to actually go for this. And there we go, there's gonna be shockwave, maybe a few more shockwaves as well. That would be a nice shockwave to actually free the space around this, to send the villagers flying. So they could be attacking it a bit easier, because right about now, plenty of villages around are really blocking a ton of army. Throwing the units all across in here. And this is basically a really important battle. Significantly important than anything else. As Chef is at 4 TCs, obviously MiracleMan 3, Count for Count at 2. And the Titan would be the thing that could be allowing to retake the TCs for his whole team and overall get them a bit of an advantage, as Count is apparently even trying to steal the front TC on the minimap. If you can see the front TC from SunTzu, who is at 2 already. And there's also a bit of radiant in the corner on the right side. This battle is really raging, and it seems to me that it's gonna be in the end victory, at least at the time being, for SOEE. So let's switch into the right side, what's going on here. And that's the back build that we have seen from Count for Count a bit before. And yeah, of course, the Fire Giants completely leveling the TC in the middle. And of course, in the very middle in here, we are gonna be looking at Count for Count. No! Doesn't have to be finishing all that much. You can see right now still the Mountain Giant taking a lot of punishment in there. Supernova wasn't paying enough attention in there, but right now he is. Let's kind of keep it checked. As the Titan Gate is apparently secure, and well, he's even gonna be heading into a bit of an offensive in there. But the TC seems to be right now successfully stopped, as they are having enough attention all the way to the bottom, so it's gonna be kinda alright. But in the meantime, there's gonna be another vortex coming from MiracleMan right into the middle of the enemy base, and he is going to be right now. No! Okay, Hecate coming forward. Is she gonna be finishing? Seems unlikely, to be honest, at this point. That's gonna be really pretty big blow to them altogether, and even the Titan might not be strong enough for that, but I'm fairly certain they're still gonna be continuing. Champion catapults, double copper. Quite nice upgrades already. You can see for Chef it's gonna be only copper shields, as he's gonna be waiting, I'm fairly certain, for Forge of Olympus for him. So apparently we have already Granite Block for the Fire Giants as the TC, and much more important, the economy for SunTzu is gonna be significantly suffering at this point. Especially with the TC, well, in the front, not exactly being stolen, but still being more or less occupied. And there is also a bit of raiding all the way to the bottom. You can see a few piggies and some hersers were having some kind of idea. And yeah, well, the dragon is making sure that the gold gathering capacities for Count for Count are not gonna be all that safe. And his gold kinda is there, not entirely like hugely up. Not hugely up, and this dragon can probably even kill the TC. He's having a lot of damage for that. So I know the TC has been killed all the way to the top side because of all the destroyers. So of course we have seen that even the Hecate has been destroyed, unfortunately, for Supernova. Supernova is reduced to only 1 TC. Actually no, there's gonna be one being made for him, and this complete and utter destruction is just definitely real, with even Chef having plenty of hoplites in the middle of the enemy base, and they are doing such a good job with all of that. So very well done. Right now Titan is gonna be having some say in all of that as well. With the Mythical Age already in though for him, for Chef, he's probably gonna be able to recuperate fairly quickly and doesn't even need all that extra population limit, at least for the time being. It's gonna be all about, of course, MrTusksRevenge somehow mastering enough army, if he actually can, because right now this is a lot of population limit eaten for him by the Titan. Basically full pop limit of 1 TC. That's all the way here, so he's gonna be, of course, still continue with the hoplites, but against the Stinfalian birds, they don't really stand all that much of a chance in there altogether. SunTzu is gonna be right now still at 1 TC, the back one apparently still being denied by Count for Count, who is paying enough attention in there, still having quite a lot of units produced into the back build. You can see he's having double, or rather bronze, copper and iron. So kind of all over the place the upgrades, but the army is still continuing to be produced by SunTzu, and he is moving hungrily on this TC, which is kind of not a bad idea, considering the whole economy around it, because you can see this is about 13 farms, and that is not a small number for Count to be losing basically all that easily. Especially when you consider the fact that he doesn't have wood. You can see he's having only 35 wood, so he would have to be 13 farms. It's like 1,000 wood right there. That's actually a significant blow for him, as dragons are fighting each other and running after each other, apparently. With so far yellow having a bit of an edge. Now he doesn't seem to be getting enough mythical spawns for all of this. As this one giant is going to be certainly helping. And okay, that was a nice hit in there by yellow. As the dragons are fighting each other. Okay, this is kind of cool. Fortunately, the dragons are not exactly fighting each other. Right now they are. Okay, let's see the dragon fight in here. As all the way to the top, Titan is doing what he can be doing on the right flank. Count for count is getting the TC from the opponent. And yeah, well, this is probably gonna be lasting here for a bit, as they're not doing all that much of a damage to each other. They're actually really not. They're doing like 50 damage to each other, as finally some fire giants are in with a few more extra units altogether. So, okay, is it gonna be enough? No, it's not. No, it's not. Count is gonna be still saving the TC, as all the way to the top side he has been denied, because, well, SunTzu is paying enough attention on the top side as well, and he's gonna be making sure that this is not gonna be such an easy game for Count. All the way to the top, the Titan, he actually hasn't gone anywhere. Okay, even a bolt on him, so that he's down 2,500 hit points. So the Titan, all he did was destroy this TC and then have fun with the enemy army. Well, that's not gonna be good enough. Especially since SunTzu right about now needs to be finishing with the back TC. But Supernova is back at 2. He's gonna be back at 3 in no time, expect. You can see that he's gonna be researching fortified TC already. What kind of upgrades he's having? Heavy Murmillo, Bronze and Double Copper. With another Vortex all the way through. Okay. Now that's gonna be bad for SunTzu. With MiracleMan having Champion Destroyers and Double Iron and Copper weapons, interestingly enough, in there only. And he's gonna be getting already bronze weapons, iron shields for Chef, after Torch of Olympus, obviously. Fortified down center for both Tusk and Supernova. So the extra population limit could be still doing something. But yeah, well, even though he might be losing all those siege weapons, he's gonna be reducing the power of yellow quite significantly. Or is he? No, well, apparently not. Supernova is gonna be on top of him. Together with himself, also having a few units and a few houses already being made at this point. So this is definitely quite nicely played, as otherwise I don't see any kind of like attempts at back build somewhere. Just still those dudes fighting all the time here. Just gonna be fighting apparently till the end of the world. As Chef is losing another TC finally to the Titan on the left side. That's gonna be right about now. A bit of a like last hit and last hurrah and huzzah for the MrTusksRevenge Titan in here, but maybe it's gonna be at least a bit of an opportunity how Mr. Tusk could be getting the front TC finally. But apparently Chef is realizing the danger of all the situation here, and therefore he wants to be at least denying it if he cannot even take it himself. Yeah, well, right now he's gonna be having exactly that and hoping for it, as apparently we have a victor of the dragon fight, and it is going to be Nidhogg from Mr. Count. In the meantime, he's gonna be heading forward with yet another army, otherwise the back build has been completely and utterly destroyed, so very well played by SunTzu finally getting rid of that. As in the middle, yeah, well, all those fire giants from yellow, they are probably gonna be having enough cloud to get rid of the forward build as well, and Count will have to be doing something a bit different. But MiracleMan, who has been able to steal the front TC for SunTzu, that is gonna be forced to be reckoned with, but at the same time, we don't exactly see him all that much prevalent. He's just doing what he can to keep Supernova at only 2 TCs, but overall, rather impressive how straight REE are able to defend on such a TC disadvantage all the time. That's really good and really nice. Okay, so full iron for MiracleMan. For teal, we are looking at bronze and double copper, especially when you are looking at the disadvantage on the upgrades in here. With Titan still doing his job, trying to keep the TC down. Yes, it's gonna be all about the TC, to be honest. If Mr. Tusk can get it, then Chef might be heading into some kind of problems in there. Bronze and double copper for purple, with heavy upgrades. Obviously, we're gonna be seeing the Zeus probably fully upgraded already on full iron, now almost. Double bronze and iron, so he's still missing at least a bit in that. As all the way into the middle, it seems like the Supernova is gonna be giving ground, as Count for Count Nidhogg has been killed as well in the meantime. Finally giving ground, and MiracleMan is gonna be pushing forward into the trade route, and that seems like a bit of a deadly predicament for them. As SunTzu is discounting yet another side build by Count for Count, but he is himself quite significantly pushing forward. But it seems to me that he won't be having enough units at this point. Even though he's definitely doing like another impossible fighting 2 versus 3 TCs at this point. 3-3-4 TCs against 2-2-2. It's really kinda nice. But Red is kinda all across the place gonna be deleting yet another TC, even in the face of all the citizens, it seems to me. Probably didn't have to be escaping with the fire siphon all that much in there. But anyway, the Titan is still there, but not really for much longer, as you're gonna be right now witnessing his downfall exactly face first, and maybe should have been killing a few units in there that were just in front of him. But the TC is apparently gonna be coming back into the power of Chef, and it seems that right about now JSS are winning on the left, they are winning in the middle, and on the right side it's kinda definitely open still. Definitely nice battle between Count and SunTzu, but the side build here might be finally something that could be working, as he's getting even the Secrets of the Titans himself, as the TC's finally falling. Finally falling for Supernova, putting him at only 1, and the situation is gonna be getting increasingly difficult for him altogether. Almost seems to me that he's actually trying to claim the Dryad tree. Sending the units in there randomly, unless they are basically at fire at will. Supernova is right now resigning, and yet SOEE are recognizing that this is not going to be their match. But holy damn, was this one hell of a battle. One hell of a half an hour battle between the clans, and it wasn't that impossible to think that SOEE could be taking this game, because that was quite significant defensive effort. Considering that like most of the game they were playing at a TC disadvantage, that was really awesome how they were able to keep the game alive, and much more than alive, even like kinda viable for them. Really well done. Really well done, and their opponents in the next rounds definitely have to be worried about SOEE, because they are certainly aiming for playoffs. The same as JSS, but from JSS you could be expecting it, but SOEE, it was maybe a bit of an unknown, but they have confirmed that they really do have the chances in there. Nicely played. Let's check into the post game. This is right about now going to be MiracleMan. Now with the high score yet again. Well, he was pocketing both games, so of course, but Count from Count definitely not far away from him. I was kinda liking the whole play by the team. Maybe Chef was in the early game slightly being pushed back by MrTusk. Seemed like that purple was controlling him rather well, but when he came back into his game and when he was able to get the 30C and then even the 4th one, that's kind of when it started clicking for him, and the Mythical Age, of course, power spike was definitely real. And you can see supported by the strongest economy in the game. By quite some margin, to be honest. Quite a few thousand better than, for example, Count, who was probably the second best in there, it seems. Bit of resources distributed by Chef in the end, probably into Count, maybe. As he maybe needed a few resources here and there for all the upgrades. But yeah, nicely done. This is really impressive. You can see that SunTzu, he didn't cross in the game 55 villages. He did not cross 55 villages the whole game. And he was able to hold 2 TCs against 3 TC Count. And he was also helped significantly often by, for example, MiracleMan, and sometimes even by Chef. Like, holy crap, that was some mighty effort by SunTzu. Mighty effort. Not the strongest economy. He wasn't having all that many upgrades. He wasn't having population limit. Whoa, that was really well done. Really well done, and just supporting how impressive this was altogether. The defensive effort by SOEE. But yeah, well, JSS were well prepared, and they weren't to be surprised by anybody. They did not underestimate anything, and they played to their fullest. Can see Chef playing a bit of a fun game, 157 killed, 254 lost. But those DC rates were also quite important, because they were putting their opponents into harder situations, and therefore he was enabling MiracleMan and Count from Count, especially MiracleMan, to be having a bit easier time there. So yeah, well, the upgrades into Classical Age pretty much the same time as the Heroic Ages, a bit later, especially for Chef. Oh, well, for Supernova as well, kind of, but they were pretty much spread out. Only Count was going for a bit earlier. And he kinda needed the flame weapons in there for the defense, but maybe if he did not advance that early, he didn't need the flame weapons, because he would be instead having the army for those resources. So yeah, well, tough to say, but he played it that way and he won in the end, so good decision in the end. Good decision. Exactly the same amount of Murmilos, just heavy and versus champions, but 101. for Supernova and MiracleMan for both pocket players. But a bit different numbers for the heresies for SunTzu and Count. 123 against 107. Yeah, that drop in the civilians for SunTzu was definitely real. He was getting quite heavily raided in there at one time, and that was basically the attack inside his base from one of the vortices, right? I'm guessing so. Maybe it actually wasn't even a vortex. Maybe it was just basically the straight attack into his base. Seems like it was something along those lines. Chef lost a lot of villages in there as well. That was right next to the Titan when he was trying to somehow do something about the TC yet again. That's a solid crash right about now for SunTzu in here. Yeah, that's the max for him, 55, and then he crashed at about like 30. So that's really brutal. That hurts, and even through that, still SunTzu was able to continue playing, and he wasn't slung. Can't see they weren't sending resources at all. Only MiracleMan and Chef in the other team, 90, not entirely certain what he was sending and to whom. Maybe just to get enough for advance, I'm thinking. As for the military, that was a lot of dance here. You can see SunTzu having a bit of a problem, but he was able to crawl back up quite well, and he was not any kind of pushover for the rest of the game in there. As green, he was kind of struggling with the army at least a bit. In the early game, you can see he wasn't having enough, especially against purple. That's why purple was kind of like owning him in there with the raidings and whatever like that. But once he finally invested heavily and got into the same level as MrTusks, then it suddenly started to be going a whole lot better. And yeah, well, of course, the Mythical Age. Oh, that was a bit of a drop down after the Titan, obviously. But still, he was able to keep it alive, and unfortunately the Titan ate a lot of population limit for MrTusk, and combined with the raidings that were coming for him still. So they weren't having like, even those two TCs like all the time. And inevitably, he just wasn't able to hold on against all the upgrades that were coming against them. So very well done. Very good match. Very good match in the opening round 1. And we're gonna be looking forward to the next ones. GG. So let's correct the score at the very end. We're gonna be looking at 2-0. And that should be it for today. There shouldn't be any kind of other match scheduled as far as I know. So we're gonna be seeing and letting you watch some other Age of Mythology we're gonna be hosting. But in the meantime, if you're interested in more games and more clan wars, especially here at RTS League, then follow us on the channel. We are gonna be having plenty of them. We are in the first round out of 7 in the group stage, and then it's gonna be playoffs. So about like 2-3 months, 2.5 months probably, of top quality clan wars in Age of Mythology. That's gonna be here at RTS League. And feel free to follow us on our other community channels for more information and fun stuff around, like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube with the past streams. That's gonna be /RTS League, all of it. You can find the links below as well. And we have also launched Discord to be discussing Age of Mythology and the games however you please. You can also find the invitation into Discord all the way bottom, at the bottom of the stream. In the meantime, well, for some kind of resources as far as community, it's of course rts-sanctuary.com, the home of AOM and AoT since 2003 already. So recorded games of experts of today and past, and of even just other players, basically anybody is gonna be found there. And of course strategy guides and the wealth of knowledge of all those 16 years already is going to be found there. So you can just join us and have a bit of talk about the game that you enjoy. And you'll be glad if you paid us a bit of a visit. But otherwise, there is also for scenarios and mods Age of Mythology Heaven. That is quite a nice one to be visiting if you are interested in like special scenarios or maybe even special civilizations and whatever stuff like that. And there is also Reddit/Age of Mythology, and these games have been played on Woobly, the best place for Age of Mythology and Age of Empires multiplayer, and using Woobly balance patch 3.0. Making the game hopefully a bit more fun for the players. But if you are interested in just the standard, the good old game, 103 official patch from Ensemble Studios, you can play it on Woobly as well. Nothing is barring you from that. You can be just enjoying your game to your heart's desire on Woobly, be it vanilla, as in original AOM, or kind of like vanilla AoT as well, or with the balance patch, really up to you. Anybody is going to be welcome, and hopefully you're going to be having some fun here. So that's going to be it for today. I hope that you enjoyed. I've been Blackadder at the RTS League channel. If you are interested in some kind of more streamings of mine of HO Mythology, well, then you might be checking me out on the channel. You can do exclamation mark caster. When we are gonna be having some other streamers, you're gonna be having same links for them as well. Or you can already see below the stream for other casters who help us cast games here on the channel and visit their channels. So we'll be glad if you did, to also give them some kind of love or of HO Mythology. And yeah, well, that's going to be about it. So again, hope you enjoyed. I've been Blackadder at the RTS League channel, and see you later with some more HO Mythology goodness.